The market isn't making trading difficult, your mindset is. Don't forget, trading's risky. Most traders do lose money, and if you don't like losing money and you don't like risk, guess what? You shouldn't be trading. But it's your mindset that's causing you to lose in trading. You've all sat and thought, I'm tired of this. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to give up. I'm going to quit. I just can't seem to get ahead. Can't seem to make money. Some of you might have been trading for 8 years. Some of you might have been trading for 8 days. End of the day, both of you are suffering from the same consequence and the same feeling. And when am I ever going to break through? How am I ever going to get this to work? And you want to quit and you want to give up. It's all in the mind. It's all up here. It's all causing the problem. The easiest way to get around that, you should know by now, is keep it simple. Forget about all those technical indicators. Forget about all the jargon. Forget about all that never-ending cycle of doom, looking for that next best thing, that next best like little indicator that's going to win all the trades for you. That next best chart that's going to win something for you is just not there. It doesn't exist. As I've told you guys 1,000,000 times, win rates and charts are not going to make you profitable. They're not going to make you money. They're just going to give you the high probability trade, a high probability trade that you hope will be better than the next guy's high probability trade. But if you don't manage the trade, then you're not going to win. The Japanese yen trade, let's go over why I trade the yen. How do I trade the yen? What do I do when I am trading the yen, and what's it all about? Why am I able to just sit in this trade forever and ever and not let it go, confidently holding on? Now, I don't say that's what you should do with every trade, because getting married to a trade is a really, really bad idea. Because when you get married to trades, generally 80% of the time it tends to fail, because you keep on trying and trying and trying to win on that trade, and it just keeps on losing. So normally when people get married to trades, they just keep on doubling up and moving their stop loss. But when I took the Japanese yen trade, and I took the Euro Japanese yen as well, by the way, in the last live show, and you saw that one, I walked back in, and I'd made a huge profit. And I was like, well, what happened there? I mean, that was a small trade. It made me more than $1,000. I think $1,500 or something like that. Just boom. I didn't even look. And there it was. Big win. Fantastic stuff, isn't it? I look at the US dollar Japanese yen, and you guys say to me, Rob, you've been in this trade for about 4 million years. And yeah, you see how I work with the US dollar Japanese yen. And that's the first one I look at it before I trade any of the others. And last live show, you'll see I had the US dollar Japanese yen for forever. And I thought, let me just add a Euro Japanese yen, or a New Zealand Japanese yen, or a Great British Pound Japanese yen, just another Japanese yen trade, because this is insanely high. I mean, this is all-time highs, 4-decade highs for the yen. But notice where I put my stop loss. I put it pretty far away, way above what was considered all-time highs for the yen, in a safe haven spot. In a spot where I know, look, if the trade gets there, I've really got this wrong. I'm completely in the wrong place. Effectively, what's happened is it's come flying down. But why did I stay in the trade? I stay in the trade for the simple reason that it always does this. When it goes short, when it goes down, when it loses momentum, when it all comes around and everyone realizes, ooh, I've actually got to sell this, it normally comes down in these long red candles like this. Comes down hard, comes down fast. That's why you're never going to catch this if you say, I'm going to get out the trade and I'll get back into it when it starts to change structure, when it starts to go the other way. When that happens, you might be out having coffee, you come back, or taking a shower, or whatever you might be doing, you come back and you'll be at this level down here. You've missed the trade completely. It's gone past you. It's left you. It's no longer in the household. So I just sit in the trades when it's a situation like this, and I wait, because 150 on the Japanese yen and the US dollar Japanese yen, like the US dollar's in front of the Japanese yen. So you would be a short trade, which is really advantageous, because I'd rather be short than long on most trades, because it's cheaper to be short on cash CFD accounts. 150 is like a magnet. Any of you that have traded maybe with the average true range will know that that's like a magnet. That works like a magnet. The US dollar Japanese yen just works like that. The 150 level is effectively a magnet. So if it's down below the 150, 130, 140, whatever, Rob's looking for long trades. And if it's above the 150, 160, all-time highs, 163, Rob's looking for short trades. And this just guides me for all the other pairs, like Euro Japanese yen, New Zealand Japanese yen, whatever else might be out there. it should do the same thing. And that's effectively how I trade the yen, knowing that it's always going to do this. It's a bit like trading the VIX. Think about the VIX. We all know that if we trade the VIX, where's the VIX? Where's our favorite VIX? Is it hiding from me today? Most likely, but I'll find it. I know it's in here somewhere. There we go. Shows you how often I trade the VIX. But I haven't traded into it for quite a while yet. And why is that? I always buy into it at around the 15 level and below. I wait for it to get to the 15 level and below. That's my rule. That's just the simple rule. I don't change the rule. Because to sit long in the VIX for an extended period of time is expensive. It costs money to sit long in the VIX. So I sit in the VIX for long extended periods of time, from around 15, sometimes hopefully less, 14, 13, whatever. And then it spikes, goes up to 30 and makes you 50 grand. That's what the VIX does for you. If you look at how you trade the VIX, why not trade other things the same way? So effectively, I trade the Japanese yen exactly the same way. And that's why it makes money that way. You just sit in the trade, sit in the trade, sit in the trade until it actually makes its move. Either way, to the long side or to the short side. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. Unfortunately, I'm still in this trade. I'm still sitting in the US dollar Japanese yen because I got in so early. I got in at 160. So I'm really hoping for it to get down to 150. But the way I see it running at the moment, worst case scenario, it goes up, goes back into this level here where there's a supply of money, grabs that money, and then continues on to the downside. I don't see it getting back up to 163 anytime soon or doing something silly like that. That ship, I think, has sailed for now. And I think the new ship is in, and the new ship is saying, let's go down to 150 again, and then perhaps get down to 140, 130. You know, I'm really, you know, pulling strings here and looking for a little bit more than what I should be looking for. Anyway,